Hi everybody, welcome back to Triple G Comics. It's Peter here, your Ginger Geordie Geek, and today we're doing a show and tell about Thor. For those of you that have seen a few of my videos, you'll know that Thor's one of my favourite characters, always has been. I think it's because when I think cast my mind back to when I was younger, my parents bought me a Thor video, a Betamax, for those of you that are very old and remember what those are, a Betamax video of the original Thor cartoon. Now the cartoon itself is pretty ropey by today's standards if you go back and watch it, but for some reason it's stuck in my memory, particularly the theme tune.
Cross the rainbow bridge of ASGARD, where the boom...
So like I say, I love Thor. The cartoon was interesting, but since the cartoon I remember watching him in lots of other versions and iterations. A couple that stick to mind, it was the old Hulk TV series, where they did I think it was a movie version of the Hulk, Trial of the Hulk, no, that was the Daredevil one. I can't remember what the title was, but anyway, it was Hulk versus Thor. I say Thor, if you go back and watch it, it's fairly far from Thor. It's pretty naff, to be perfectly honest. Never mind, it was at least an appearance of the character. I've enjoyed the Thor movies, I have to say. I think particularly the first one I really enjoyed. I loved the artistic style of that. Absolutely adore the character of Loki. I think the actor who does that is superb. Thor 2, I'm one of the few people who would probably say I liked it, but that's probably because, like I say, I am a Thor lover, so I like everything he's in. Thor 3, Ragnarok, first time I saw that, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the humour. It felt to me like they were changing the Thor character to something he's not. But on second, third viewing, I actually start to really enjoy the film, and I think it's one of the better movies. I like very much the end scene. I love the bit where he becomes badass and he starts kicking people's heads in and things like that. I think that's really, really well done. So yeah, love Thor, love the character. I've got a fair bit of Thor stuff and we'll go through some of that today. There is quite a lot, so I am going to skim through some of it quite quickly, and this is by no means all of my collection. I've got a lot of other Thor stuff, First Beta Ray Bale, Jane Foster, Enchantress, all kind of things, so I have got a fair bit. So, going to start off with a comic that is not expensive, I don't think. I got it from a Stan Lee box. I just absolutely adore the cover. I think it's probably one of the best covers featuring Stan Lee that you'll see out there. And it's Stan obviously holding Mjolnir, which is Thor's hammer. So obviously, without doubt, Stan Lee is worthy. So really enjoy that. And for me, again, going back to the movies, that's probably one of the best scenes in all of the Avengers films, when Steve Rogers, spoilers, as if anybody's not seen Endgame, but spoilers, is when Steve Rogers holds Mjolnir for the first time. I just think it's absolutely tremendous. Side note, didn't particularly like Stormbreaker. Not sure why they went that route. I would have much rather have seen Beta Ray Bill. Beta? Is it Beta or Beta? I don't know how you pronounce it. I've always called him Beta Ray Bill. I would much rather have seen Beta Ray Bill appear in the comics. Sorry, in the films, with the proper Stormbreaker. Not sure why they went down that route with the Groot hammer and all the rest of it. Just felt a little bit odd. Next book I'm going to share with you. Very rare for me because I'm predominantly a Marvel man, but these books are superb. So this is the Avengers versus JLA from a few years back. A bit of a fanboy dream, really, seeing the Avengers fighting the JLA. In this book, there's a fight between Superman and Thor. It's good. Thor loses. Devastated about that. For me, Thor can take Superman, but that's just because I'm a Thor guy. But a really, really nice set of books. This really enjoyed the storyline, and then following on from that, there's the last issue, which shows that Superman can wield Mjolnir as well, which of course he can. It's Superman. But again, that's some pretty good scenes in that. Really good series. One of my favourites, actually. I'll recommend picking that up in trade paperback, or get the originals if you can, because they've got wraparound art, which is absolutely stunning. You can also get the Absolute edition, which I've got, which is again absolutely tremendous. So really, really nice artwork in that series by George Perez. Again, a word I don't know how to say. I think it's Perez. So, next thing, when I started really reading comics, it was around the time where Thor went through a strange period where he was, I can't remember if he died or if he was captured by Loki, or Mephisto, I think it might have been. And a guy called Eric Matheson took his place and was Thor for a number of issues, and finally became a character called Thunderstrike. Loads of excitement about that recently, because there was a random photo of the latest Thor film with Chris Hemsworth wearing a jacket. I have no idea why people immediately jumped to the fact that I think that might be Thunderstrike. If it is, great, because again, and please don't kill us for this, but I'm a big Thunderstrike fan. I read those comics when I was younger and I really enjoy the character, and that leads us into this. This is a tremendous series, Thor Corps. So this is Thunderstrike, the Better Bill, and the future Thor, I think he's called Drago, basically team up to fight a bad guy. Again, really good story, artwork's lovely, and this particular copy reprints some of the first appearances of Drago. Really interesting series. It covers everything. So you've got the Invaders in there at one point, basically the travel through time. So they've got the Invaders in there, you know, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy, the original Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just really good series. I would recommend picking that up, particularly if you like that kind of era of comic books. Mentioning Eric Matheson, this is the and I got this before all the excitement of the hype. I got this because just basically this is a comic from my childhood that I remember well. This is a CGC 9.6 and Thor 459, and it's basically when Thor comes back to life and there's a bit of argy-bargy. That's a very English word. That means a bit of argument for anybody that's watching from overseas. Bit of argy-bargy. It all kicks off, and basically Thor and Eric both want Mjolnir and want the power of Thor. And at the end of the issue, basically Odin gifts Eric Matheson a new hammer, which is Thunderstrike, a new mace, sorry, which is Thunderstrike. So technically this is the first appearance of Thunderstrike, although not in the costume he then takes on. Mentioned Odin there, just to say, going back to the films, I thought Anthony Hopkins was absolutely tremendous in the Thor films. He brought a gravitas to the role, and there's a scene in the first Thor film where he basically berates Thor and sends him back to, sends him to Earth, which I think is absolutely superb.
You are unworthy of these realms. You're unworthy of your title. You're unworthy.
Now this one just stinks of 80s and 90s kind of nostalgia and gimmickry, and that's Thunderstrike issue 1. There's the leather jacket. Oh, fantastic. And it's got the foil cover. This is a 9.8 CGC. I got this book again a couple of months back before the hype all kind of kicked in with this book. I just love it. It reminds us of when I used to really read a lot of comics. And there you can see that the weapon he uses, Thunderstrike, is a mace more than a hammer, and it has all kinds of different powers to Mjolnir. It doesn't fly, I think he just chucks it and it pulls him, and I think it can shoot like a lightning beam from it. Brilliant series. The first few issues of this are excellent, and of course the character, for me, really enjoying the character and loving reading it, it was all fairly tragic because, again, spoilers, the last episode, this character gets killed or sacrifices himself because of the blood axe, I believe. You know, and it's built up from his introduction about how he's a family guy, he's got a young child and all the rest of it. Kevin, I think the kid's called. So it was a bit of a kick in the nuts, to be perfectly honest, by the end of the series. They did try and bring Kevin in as Thunderstrike in a more recent issue, recent series of comics, and it just didn't have the same thing for me. In fact, some of the artwork in it was dreadful. I don't really know why they went that way, but anyway, he's never really taken off. Classic covers, absolutely love this. I mean, I say classic cover, everybody knows what cover I'm surely going to be talking about when I talk Thor, and that is, of course, this one, Silver Surfer. I mean, it's just stunning. It's iconic. It's a cover you see all the time when people start talking about favourite covers of all time. It just looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a PGX 4.0. Now, I don't have any other PGX comics, and I bought this a while ago. I haven't got a clue if it's been pressed or cleaned or anything like that, so I may send it off and get it regraded. Always a risk with that. Like I say, it could come back a lower grade, which would be again a bit of a kick in the nuts. Or it could come back higher, or it could come back the same. I just haven't got a clue. I can't grade for toffee, so I don't know. All I know is it's a stunning cover, and I might send it back off and get it regraded and slabbed again. So, before we move on to the last couple of comics, if you've seen any of my other videos, and if you haven't, I would recommend you go back and look at the Stan Lee show and tell I've got. But if you've seen that one, you'll know I've got this. This is a Molyneux, lightweight plastic one, signed by Chris Hemsworth and Stan Lee. So that's Chris Hemsworth there, who of course plays Thor in the movies, and Stan Lee up here. Absolutely love this. Got this for my 40th birthday. Love it. It is plastic, it is very lightweight, but it's a lovely thing to have. I've also got this one, which is a bit heavier. It's solid. I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it's hard. Rock hard actually. It's got a lot of weight to it, and it was very cheap. I think it was only about 40 quid. Doesn't have any of the inscription on it, obviously, but it does say Thor on the top, and it's lovely. I love it. Last couple of books are biggies. I mentioned before, really like Loki. Not massive grades, not huge grades, but for some of these books, any grade's a good grade, I think. So that's the first appearance of Loki in Journey into Mystery 85. It's a sense copy, and it's a 3.0 CGC. Now, I did send this off to be pressed and whatnot, so I know that it's as good as it's going to get. I think it's just a stunning cover, isn't it? Just look at it, it's absolutely brilliant. First appearance of Loki, brilliant. I love it, absolutely love it. Now, next one is bittersweet. Like I say, Thor is my favourite character, and when I started collecting, I always wanted a Journey into Mystery 83. Always wanted one, but I'm not a rich man, and the prices of these things are through the roof, obviously. But I was lucky enough to pick one up in the wild, raw, from a reputable dealer, for a reasonable price. The most money at that point that I had ever spent on a comic book. So there was a lot of negotiation, a lot of discussion about the book itself and all the rest of it. But I got myself a Journey into Mystery 83 sense copy, stunning cover, absolutely brilliant. Got it pressed by the fabulous James Gower, and was absolutely over the moon with it. Now, when James was pressing it, he did message us and say, Peter, you are aware, aren't you, that there's some issue with these staples? Which I hadn't been. It was never disclosed when I picked the book up. And like I say, I love comics, but I'm not an expert. I don't grade myself. I don't know what I'm looking for, to be quite honest. So I took the sale at face value. To be fair to them, they have tried to help us since then, and I decided to keep it, because what you'll see is it is actually a CGC conserved grade. So basically this came back as a conserved grade, and it says conservation includes staples replaced. Now, I could argue that they weren't replaced, I could say they were cleaned, but I don't know. But it came back at a 1.5. To be fair, it was sold to us at a 1.0, so I did get a grade bump, but I got a conserved label. And now I've hummed and hawed with this for, crikey, forever, really, about what do I do with it? Do I just accept the grey banner and live with it? Or do I take the staples out and send it loose and see what grade that comes back as? Or will that come back as a conserved? I emailed CGC and they said it would probably come back conserved, and they couldn't guarantee the grade. So, my Grail, the book I've always wanted, it's mine. I will keep it, I think, but it's on a grey banner. If I ever get a fantastic deal, or say a cheap Jim 83, I think I will buy another one and let this one go. So that's the pride of my collection, Journey into Mystery 83 1.5. Okay, that's all for today's video. Drop a a line in the comments if you've got any Thor memorabilia, or if you've got a Genuine Mystery 83, let us know about that. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye now.